You're listening to Cattywampus.
So what was your favorite Transformers as a kid? Because I think this is like a new psychological test we should put on BuzzFeed.
That's a good question.
I kind
of want to say Hot Rod.
Like the movie, like Hot Rod. No, Hot Rod, not Rodimus Prime, but Hot Rod.
No, yeah. When he got to be a truck, I was just like, that's bulky.
He looked more like a camper.
Right? Yeah, he looked like an RV.
I don't know if it's like my age or what, but I feel like I had more Beast Wars knowledge than I did Transformers.
That's fine. Who was your favorite? It's fine. You're a furry. What was your favorite Beast War?
It's
just like how I loved Starscream as a teenager because I wanted to be somebody's bitch.
I liked the cheetah guy, and I liked Cheetor.
Yeah, what's his name? Cheetor.
I liked Cheetor, and I feel like was his name Rat Trap?
Yeah, Rat Trap.
I knew you were gonna say Rat Trap.
Rat Trap, yeah.
Was he not badass? I can't remember.
He was not badass.
He was
cowardly.
Literally a fucking rat.
He was cowardly. He was famously cowardly.
He was a fucking rat.
I think, was it Rhinox? He was the badass. He was like the stoic, because Cheetor was like the brash young one. Rat Trap was like a coward. Optimus Primal was Optimus Prime. And then I want to say Rhinox was like the kind of like cold, stoic, like calculating, get shit done, wielding two handguns silently kind of guy.
Was Beast Wars a shitty Thundercats ripoff? I'm really thinking about this now.
I do not remember Thundercats well enough, but what you're saying tracks. What you're saying.
Now that I think about it, classifying the characters, it kind of fits.
I mean, it could also be that, like, going back to Seven Samurai, that is literally the classification of a team of action heroes. It could be that they're all just, going for the psychological underpinnings, codified by Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. Or for you youngins, that weird anime Samurai 7 that said, what if Kurosawa's classic was longer and made less sense?
What if it had robots?
I didn't hate it. There's some stuff in there I like. There's some interesting takes, but
I've never gotten all the way through it. I start it and I usually stop a few episodes in.
Yeah, just watch Seven Samurai. I mean, the problem with that is, like, just watch Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Corey, what Transformer did you like as a kid?
I had some Transformer toys I played with, but I don't remember which ones they were.
Oh, so
I do remember that I accidentally broke a few of them.
No. So your favorite Transformer character was you as a god, toying with the.
No, they were made of like this really. You might know what I'm talking about. Some of those older like '90s, '80s toys.
Oh yeah, it was
they were made of the really rigid plastic that would snap.
It was,
and for some reason, all of my Transformers.
No, the Transformers were like this too.
I know, I'm kidding.
It was these thin, rigid.
Some of them were like fucking metal though.
Some of them were. There were some die-cast ones, but the thin.
Yeah, I had the die-cast like. It was like a fighter jet. I can't remember which Transformer that was. I don't think it was
one of his minions.
I definitely had Starscream.
Or did you have the Autobot Skyfire?
Maybe.
But no, like I had a die-cast one. What I had one is I remember I had an Optimus Prime, and I'm pretty sure it was die-cast metal, but that was the body, and everything on him was plastic, and this plastic was thin enough that it could like paper cut you. Like if you touched it, either you got cut or you broke it. Those were the only two options when handling the Transformer.
It was a really good toy, and like the joints were really rigid. The joints were really rigid, so if you put any amount of force in trying to force it to transform, there's a good chance, and this has happened to a few of them, that whatever you were trying to bend for the transformation would just snap off. I don't know why they didn't maybe it's just because some of these were a little bit older. Some of these were definitely like my dad's toys, like my dad's Legos. But yeah, no, they had a habit of breaking, and of course I think there were a few of them that had stickers. The stickers eventually fell off. That white plastic started to yellow over time, just as plastic does. It's really, really high quality stuff. But yeah, at some point he just said, "Stop breaking my toys," and took them back.
And this ends the What Transformer You Are quiz. Before I transition, Brian, stop typing.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which. I think it was Starscream.
That's all editing I have to do.
Brian,
Yeah.
I'll give you a tip if you need to do a thing. Just mute your microphone and put it in Windows.
I'll give you a tip if you want to do a thing. Don't do that thing.
That's another good tip.
I'll just use my phone instead of my keyboard.
Bro,
Yeah, there you go.
So
you'd think we haven't been doing this for well over a year.
So what did we watch?
So I have not yet listened back from the previous recording 2 recordings ago to know what the intro used to be. So this is the Ernest Odyssey. We're on the 4th solo Ernest film. Ernest Scared Stupid. This is our Halloween episode. We're sorry.
I'm not.
No, we're really sorry.
It was gonna be about the Halloween franchise, but the world ended, and we weren't gonna get Halloween kills this year, thus leading to a tie-in.
It might be about as good as Halloween Kills, depending.
Honestly, this is when the Ernest franchise kind of started to lose me. I've been pretty pro-Ernest, and I didn't hate this more than I've disliked any Ernest film. But this is when I started to think, oh, we're kind of losing our way with Ernest. We are breaking the formula a bit here.
First half was really rough.
Second half was really rough.
I couldn't even determine the halfway mark, the midpoint of this film.
I feel like for me the movie only got decent at the final fight, I guess.
Well,
And even that was awful. But let's not go there.
we won't
yet.
go. We won't go there.
I mean, this film had me from the first moments when a bunch of kids are being allowed to hang out with a garbage man with blatant
Yeah. So let's
schizophrenia.
get into it. So first off, new kind of credit sequence. We have a lot of weird royalty-free clips of public domain horror movies, including Nosferatu, which made me really want to see an Abbott and Costello-esque film, but with Ernest and Nosferatu, or Count Orlok, as he's called.
Today I learned.
So yeah, Ernest is now a garbage man. Although he kept his dog with him, which does imply some continuity. Rimshot is here again.
We never went to Ernest's house in this movie, did we?
I don't think so.
No, we went to
I
Garbage
assume
Island.
I hate to say this, but I assume he lived in a shack on the dump,
Yeah.
or he lived in his truck. I'm not sure.
I was wondering if we were gonna go back to like the Pee-wee's fucking playhouse.
Like this is the same
vibes.
town, maybe.
Something.
No, we went to the Honeycomb Hideout instead.
The Honeycomb Hideout. Wow, boy, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Ernest, unfortunately, Ernest shares the protagonist role in this film with a bunch of shitty kids who really pissed me off. And I gotta feel this was a real Poochie scenario, because every time these kids were on the screen, I was like, where is Ernest? And then more disturbingly, Ernest, who's now the garbage man, he is good friends with these. It's a trio, right? A trio of children? Or is it just 2 children?
Was there 4 and then 1 gets taken eventually?
One gets taken.
Oh, hold on. No. I think there were 4, and then one of them gets his soul
Gets
sapped
taken.
or whatever.
Now you
In the
listen.
beginning.
There's 4 of them. A few of them end up murdered.
Now
quote
you listen
unquote.
here. If you let him go, troll, this will be the end of it. But if you don't, I will hunt you. You know what I mean.
I'm pretty sure I'm the only person that's watched the series Dark on Netflix, but it
Definitely.
reminded me. It's so fucking good. You really.
I
need to
believe
do
it. I'm gonna watch it. It's add it to my list of
It reminds me
1,000
a lot of
TV
that.
shows to watch.
There's like a group of four kids or whatever, and then the youngest one gets snatched, and then you continue past that, and they.
Well, how does
That's kinda how this
Milk
movie was.
killing a troll figure into Dark?
Haven't gotten there yet. I stopped after season 1.
I thought it was me.
Miak.
Yeah, Miak.
By the way, early on we watched. We're gonna get to Miak. Early on, we watched Ernest get electrocuted by the garbage, which felt like they were trying to say that he lost those electrical powers for good.
I mean he almost gets crushed to death by the same
Yeah.
garbage.
I just
So-
remember he tried the Star Wars trick, and it didn't work.
We basically didn't have R2 to shut down all the trash compactors on the detention level.
That is true. So these kid protagonists, this isn't your normal wayward youth situation. They're just a bunch of precocious fucks, and they're like hanging out with Ernest, and they're gonna do some similar war games, going back to Ernest Goes to Camp, with some bully kids, and then the movie takes a turn because I'm sorry, we've skipped something. We skipped the prologue with fucking Ernest as Solomon Kane.
Yep.
Forgive me. We need to take it back a little. This movie opens 200 years ago, in which a troll is captured and sealed under a massive tree by Jim Varney as basically Solomon Kane as a pilgrim John Constantine, which is also a movie I would watch. And anyway, the person who is kept watch over this is the somehow mystically ancient 200-year-old crazy lady in the town who, if you put a gun to my head and said, "Is Eartha Kitt in an Ernest film?" I would have said, "That's impossible."
And yet here we are.
Her house and her getup and all of her everything was really confusing to me. I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of like Burning Man or like burn culture or the people that go there or the art they create, but she looked like she had been at Burning Man for about 6 months.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I do think that culture does kind of lend itself to the crazy old lady. It was weird. And then Eartha Kitt is like, I'm, without spelling it out, she's like, I'm protecting this troll under this tree. That's why I'm here. The troll steals kids.
Yep. You also you forgot the part where the troll curses Ernest Constantine. He curses his bloodline, who will watch over the tree to get progressively stupider every generation.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense because Solomon Kane Ernest did seem pretty with it.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed to have his shit together. And present day Ernest has schizophrenia, or so we're implied to believe.
Well, then he does the character thing where when they're going to war, he does his favorite characters. We've got the weird lady in the brace. He's dressed up in brownface as an ottoman, which did not play well. They basically use a bunch of Rube Goldberg machines to push the kids away. At this point, a bird shits in Ernest's eye, and all I wrote was "Congratulations, movie" in my notes, because that was just a new low for me. It was weird.
Now the Rube Goldberg machines were to punish the fat kid, right? Yes, the fat bully. Yeah. Because this was that early 90s time where if you were going to have a bully in the movie, it had to be very obvious that bully was projecting onto another kid.
Look, Ernest has always been corny. Like, he's always made corny jokes and puns, but you know what does not help this formula? Adding 3 kids to constantly comment on how dumb his jokes are. Because my response to that is either remove the jokes then or embrace this franchise. I don't need some weird 90s hip interpretation of "This ain't your daddy's Ernest." But, he's teaching the guerrilla warfare methods.
That I assume he learned in Nam.
Yeah, Nam, and then the camp, and then
Jail.
The Hague.
I don't remember what happens after this. When does the troll show up, or how does the troll show up?
So after Ernest helps them ruin these poor fat children's day, I guess at some point earlier in the film, as his job as a garbage collector, he was supposed to go to old Burning Man Eartha Kitt's home and like collect all the junk out there because she basically is a hoarder.
Yeah.
And people are generally concerned about her well-being. Probably not. Tenement's just an eyesore.
Her tenement's an eyesore. She's been there for 200 years, which somehow nobody notices.
Yeah, nobody seemed to have noticed that. But no, he goes out there and she tells him, "Oh, your family's going to ruin this entire fucking town. Go away." So the tree that he helps these kids build this treehouse on just so happens to be the tree where Ernest P. Constantine, the first, trapped the troll. And he does some stupid incantation and wakes up the troll.
Right. Which, by the way, Ernest, we've talked about Ernest versus Ash before. Got a lot of Ash Williams Evil Dead vibes in this from Ernest.
Especially a lot of the cinematography, actually.
Yes.
A lot of the special effects reminded me. I've just recently watched Hellraiser, and a lot of the special effects had those same, like the electricity when the Cenobites show up, and the same like the tentacles. Like there's just so much. Like I was like, what? Who did they hire for this movie?
Yes, Jim Varney. We have such sights to show you.
Hands, do not open the box. Do you know what I mean? You may escape your fate if you bring us Vern.
I'd watch that.
I would also watch Ernest. Again, I want an Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein Fane. I want Ernest. I want Ash Williams. I want Pinhead. Rimshot could fight Cujo. So Ernest wakes the troll up. He rushes to the parents of one of the kids who's the sheriff. The dad is the sheriff.
Which also makes it even more confusing that these children are hanging out with the neighborhood garbage man, and the local sheriff's just like, well, boys will be boys.
Yeah, this guy's first response needs to be to tell this old man to stop taking his kids into the woods. Like, this is weird. He tries to warn the town. Our comic B team, formerly baggage claim handlers, formerly security guards, are now...
Actually, that's what's weird about this, is one of them has been replaced in this film.
Again? From jail?
Uh-huh.
What?
What?
The
Which one?
larger individual was a different guy.
What is happening?
You didn't notice that? I promise you, it's a different guy.
I believe you. I mean, I don't...
The smaller gentleman's still the same. He still
See,
doesn't
this is their
speak,
trick,
much
though, is
like
they never
Teller.
replace this. They never replace both of them at the same time. And then you just kind of roll with it.
That's how you never notice that there's a new Teller. Pen's always the same.
It's always Penn Gillette. No one ever knows about Teller. But now they're salvage pawn shop owners, technically, who have a heavy television marketing campaign.
I don't know. It basically seemed like I guess it was a pawn shop. It was like a Goodwill, but if Goodwill,
Screwed you.
Yeah.
So Badwill.
Badwill. So Ernest tries to trap the troll using a dumpster. Well, no, Urfa Kit is like, I'd like to give you a lot of exposition. Ernest is like, it is up to me to stop this troll because no one believes my rantings and ravings. And so he tries to trap it in a dumpster. Although weirdly, when
does not work.
Well, also when he sets up the dumpster, he traps his own hand and he starts looking at the camera a few times, which makes me now wonder: is this one of the Ernest films in which we are Vern? Which
I want off Mr. Varney's Wild Ride.
I think you think a little too deep into these movies.
that is literally the premise of this podcast.
Well, he doesn't succeed in trapping the troll.
No, he
But
traps
he somehow succeeds in trapping two little fat kids.
He does. Also Ernest pulls like a Wile E. Coyote with like a massive bear trap. You know.
Thus showing he is an
Oh
immortal.
my god. Where did he even get that trap?
I don't know, but is that also the same scene where?
Acme.
Isn't that the same scene where Rimshot was in a cavalry outfit, which was adorable?
I think
Wishbone's
so.
going to take us back to the Civil War.
Let's see how Little Bighorn goes down this time with Wishbone in charge of the cavalry.
I think I'd rather watch the Wishbone movies than these movies. Or show, I guess. Was there movies?
I think it was just a PBS series.
Yeah, I couldn't
It's
really
pretty
tell
great.
ya.
Yeah, Wishbone was Sherlock Holmes. It was great. Yeah, it was delightful. He was Robin Hood. He had a little bow and arrow. It was adorable.
Oh, I've got news for you.
It's getting rebooted, isn't it?
PBS's Wishbone is getting a movie.
The world could use more Wishbone.
Could
They
use
could
more
never use
something.
less.
I mean, I don't really know. I'm really now worried we're going to rewatch Wishbone and find out it was horribly offensive.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember anything
First
about
episode
it,
is
but-
Wishbone taking us back to the construction of the railroads.
That's weird. I didn't know
I mean,
Wishbone
like-
did one about the Turner Diaries.
Like I don't think you're gonna see Wishbone in blackface. I don't think you have to worry about
And Wishbone's
that.
like, and that's why we can't trust the Zionists. And you're like, what?
Wishbone takes you back to the diaries of Henry Ford.
Wishbone adapted Things Fall Apart?
Oof. Nope, not into that.
Moving on. Maybe it's because there was also a monster attack in a grocery store in this film as well. But this kind of reminded me. Did anybody see the live-action Goosebumps movie?
Yeah, the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
garbage.
so.
It kind of reminded me
No,
of
I
this.
definitely didn't see that.
It felt very similar to this movie tonally, and there were several overlapping scenes. I mean, I guess it's as good of a Goosebumps movie as you could hope. I don't remember it. I'll be honest. I don't remember any of it.
I barely remember anything, but I feel like weren't they just basically mashing like 10 different books into
Well,
one.
I believe the premise was
movie.
that R.L. Stein is his neighbor and the books are real.
Yeah, and then the book started like coming to life. And
Yeah.
they had to, like the kids had to.
Stop all the
Didn't
books.
he like?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Page Master, but not as good.
I feel like you'll eat
It's like
those
the Page
words
Master,
if you ever
but if
have to rewatch
I-
the Page Master.
It's like the Page Master, but instead of Macaulay Culkin, we have Jack Black.
It's like the Page Master, but equal in quality.
I mean, I don't remember anything about the Page Master, so I'll take your word
Not
for it.
good. Not good.
I really had to read into like some of these Wishbone episodes, and
This is now a
Apparently-
Wishbone podcast.
apparently there's a episode 6 of season 1 is African American folk tales,
Uh-oh.
and they cover the Anansi the spider, and the people
course they
and the
did.
people could fly.
Well, let us hope that Wishbone dealt with it with dignity and grace. Let us hope that. I mean,
I
guess Wishbone's not canonically any race, but it still feels weird.
Wishbone Pride and Prejudice doesn't sound like the worst thing.
Wait, does he have to like make out with like a human woman then?
I don't know.
How does
Worked
that
for
work?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
I'm sorry, wait, did Sonic the Hedgehog... I'm sorry, I watched that movie. I don't recall Sonic the Hedgehog making out with a human woman.
It wasn't the movie. It
Okay.
was one of the games.
I like just watched that last month. I'm like, I feel like I'd remember that.
Wishbone the Inspector General. I want to watch this.
Isn't it on P?
Of like the UN?
Yeah,
Like,
what do you mean?
Wishbone is the...
Wishbone's gonna
Wishbone
find
is
out how much
Kofi
uranium's in
Annan.
Iraq.
Yes, the episode's called Russian to the Bone.
I'm sorry, what?
What?
Russian, like running.
Yeah,
to
why
the
get
bone?
that? What is the premise?
That's also the name of your mother's first novel.
The premise is the Inspector General, the satirical play.
Oh,
They really they went for it. I kind of want to watch Wishbone now.
it's got to be on PBS, right?
I seem to remember there's 2 episodes covering Sleepy Hollow. I remember those.
That's a short story. Do we need 2 episodes?
I don't know if any of you guys remember this.
Wishbone?
No, I can't remember. It was around that same time, maybe a little earlier. I think his name was Toby, but it was a little dog that you bought, and it interacted with the movies you played. And like you put the stuffed animal on your couch, and it had a infrared sensor, so it could read what your VCR was doing. I
You
guess.
are younger enough than me that I can tell you the only toy I had with technology inside of it was Teddy Ruxpin.
That's what I was about to say. It sounds like you're describing a Teddy Ruxpin, Brian.
After Teddy Ruxpin, who ran on cassette tapes, similar to Soundwave, actually. Now that I think about it, was the peak of adorable stuffed animal technology that I had as a child. But that's because I am a few years older than you.
So Teddy Ruxpin must have been like right before, and then there was the dog, which I think was
But what you're describing is like the child,
Oh.
is like the Child's Play remake Chucky.
Toby Terrier, and it was in the early
But
'90s.
did it try to kill you like Chucky?
Toby Terrier.
Probably tried to, maybe. I mean,
Your buddy. Yeah.
My buddy. My buddy.
That is disturbing, Steve. Steve, you should watch the Child's Play remake. I'm kind of curious to know what everyone thinks about it because Brian apparently hated it, and I
I still.
I mean, I never liked the original, so I
same.
don't see
I've never
myself
liked
liking...
any Child's Play movies, so I actually kind of had fun with the remake. It's on Hulu and Amazon right now.
I think the best.
They
maybe
literally
is-
do The Simpsons. You set the doll to evil. They literally do that.
Oh,
I
well,
hated
then
it.
maybe I will enjoy
They,
that movie.
they fire they fire a worker in the factory in Vietnam, and since he's disgruntled and has to finish the last doll, he goes to a computer and turns off the violence inhibitor, and then puts the doll
Wait.
together.
and then kills
Well,
himself.
here's your problem. Someone set this thing to evil.
Oh, it was great. I was like, this movie and I are on the same wavelength. This is
Hold on. Which movie?
the Child's Play
Child's
remake
Play.
last year with Aubrey Plaza and Brian Tyree Henry.
I'm going to look into this.
It's on
And
it's on
Mark
Amazon. and Hulu.
Hamill as Chucky.
Which is good. I actually think that's a good. He's good. I mean, obviously, his voice acting career is without not in question. So it wasn't shocking that he was
That's
good.
true.
I hated it. I was so surprised when you sent me that text.
That's but
Because
I
I
just
saw
don't
it-
understand. I mean, I just think the other ones are awful, and so
I don't really like any of them.
Yeah.
I feel like Seed of Chuck or is it Bride of Chucky? Is that the one that was Bride of Chucky? I feel like that one, when it came out, was funny at least, but
Nope.
now I'm sure it's like horribly
I can
racist.
tell you, it's
and-
not funny. It wasn't funny then. I was 12. I was like, this is stupid.
yeah.
This sucks.
Brian was more of a leprechaun man.
Oh, when he went to the hood,
Yeah.
Uh-huh. No, I like the when he went to space.
it's definitely better than when he went to the hood.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think any of the Leprechaun movies are good.
Well, no, they're not. You're correct. I mean,
Yeah, that's like there's a lot of shitty horror that I like a lot, and that's just not on that list.
but yeah, no. The Child's Play remake is sort of kind of delightful because it is essentially a comedy. I mean, and not essentially, it is a comedy. Like, it is not taking any of it seriously. It is making a joke about all this stuff, and I liked it. Also, Brian Tyree Henry was just charming as always.
I liked him. I really felt like Aubrey Plaza. Maybe I need to see it again, but it felt.
I liked her.
I saw it in theaters like the day it came out, and
You're a real
I-
Chuckhead, apparently.
I
Wow.
well, I was excited to see like a new take on it because the last.
I mean, you
like,
got that.
the last like three Cult of Chucky and then some other bullshit on Netflix or
Was it
something.
Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Cult of Chucky?
Yeah, I thought there was one more, maybe not.
There
but-
might be.
but
I don't
fucking
think so
terrible.
because I know they were all direct to DVD.
Yeah, Bride was the last theatrical one, right?
Yeah, and then
I think so.
Seed was very similar to Bride, and then Cult was on its own. I don't even know what they were thinking. It was like a mansion, and Chucky's in the attic.
We're
and-
missing Curse of Chucky. It was Bride of Chucky, Seed
Holy
of Chucky.
shit! Are you telling me that Cult of Chucky is Black Christmas but with Chucky?
Maybe it's there's Cult, and you said what was the last one?
Curse is the one before Cult.
Okay, so I think Curse and Cult might be in the same continuity, and I think they are in this like fucking I don't know some weird mansion when there's an attic, and I feel like Chucky's in a weird rocking chair. I barely remember him. I
Yeah,
just
so
remember
you're
his shit.
describing Black Christmas but with a Chucky.
By the
doll.
way, I am incorrect. Seed of Chucky was in theaters.
Was it?
Apparently, it was the last one theatrically released until the remake.
So Seed of Chucky. So there's Bride of Chucky, and then at the end of the movie, they were like, "We're having a kid," and then Seed of
Yeah,
Chucky
yeah,
is
yeah.
their kid. And I liked
Yeah.
those two movies, kind of.
The fact that you're like, I like those, and the new one is trash is just. I'm just like, I can't. I don't even. What? Like, you like Seed of Chucky?
He's doing his best, David.
I think.
doing his
so.
worst.
Well, so I haven't seen them since I rented them at Blockbuster. If that tells you anything.
Well, that tells you how long ago that
And
was.
Seed of Chucky came out in 2004.
So I was in high school, and I'm sure I rented it.
Sorry, John Waters is a character. John Waters is playing a character in Seed of Chucky, apparently.
I assume he's playing John Waters.
Well, he's playing Pete Peters.
Same thing.
It's a weird movie.
Great name.
Yeah.
Their
Look,
kids.
I'm
real
just
weird.
glad. I'm just glad they were able to employ Jennifer Tilly. I'm just glad Jennifer Tilly was getting work.
So is she.
Hey, Curse of Chucky was released theatrically in Brazil.
That's a good barometer.
Uh-huh.
That's how I'm going to measure the greatness of anything from now on.
Curse of
Did it
Chucky
hit
was released.
Brazilian theaters.
Curse of Chucky was released theatrically when I projected it on the outside wall of my house.
Yeah.
Why? Because you hate your neighbors.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I ever actually saw Cult of Chucky. I think Curse was enough. Kind of like the last two Hellraiser movies. They're just, I know none of it's good, but like they're just worse.
I stopped with Hellraiser and
Inferno?
No, I've seen most of them.
Yeah, Hellworld.
No, hold on, I can tell you. What was the first one without Doug Bradley?
Bloodline.
They replaced Doug Bradley with Hellraiser Revelations in 2011, and I watched that one, but I never watched the one after. So actually, I've only not seen one of them.
Steve, I can't remember. Did you watch Hellraiser Revelations with me and Chris? I think
I think yes. I remember some of it. I don't think I watched the whole
it's
thing.
the only one where they replaced Pinhead first.
No,
like that,
there's,
that's
there's two of them now.
well, that's what I mean. Sorry. So it was the first time they'd replaced him, and I think it's like some teenage kid and like a house, and
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because I remember there being like a weird house party or some shit during that movie.
yeah, yep.
Which one's the found footage one?
I think that's that one.
Yep, yep.
Yup.
It's
Which one's the one from the director of Doctor Strange? Is that Inferno?
Maybe.
It
Is
is.
that what is? Ugh.
Wait, Scott Derrickson directed that
It was like
one?
one of his first movies, and he basically took this supernatural noir thriller and just rewrote it to include Pinhead so he could get it made.
That seems like an ill-advised plan.
I mean, he has a career, so there's something.
I mean, he's
What
he got to make the Day the Earth Stood Still remake, so that's something.
is Nightbreed part of the
wait,
Hellraiser?
he made that one?
He did remake the Day the Earth Stood Still, yeah.
David, is Nightbreed part of the Hellraiser universe?
I mean, Clive Barker's books, similar to Stephen King's books, are loosely connected, but not most of the time. They are not dependent on any of those connections.
So David Cronenberg is a psychiatrist in Nightbreed?
He is, yeah.
I thought there was more Hellraiser films for some reason.
10's good. We're good
God,
with 10.
hell-
We could stop.
Hell World and what?
Which one has Superman? Which one has Henry Cavill?
Why the fuck is this movie called Hellraiser Deader?
Because you're deader. You're deader than you were before this one.
I don't think I've ever
Duh.
seen
Damn
that
dog,
one.
he was dead, but then he got deader.
Yeah, the fifth one. He's deader. Or
Um,
was that the sixth one? I can't remember.
So Hellraiser 6, Dead and Loving It?
what's,
Leslie Nielsen.
you said Henry Cavill's in one?
Henry Cavill's in one of them. Yeah, I think it's Hellworld.
It's Hellworld. That movie is such a piece of shit. That's like when the internet. I guess.
I love how you're like, that one's the piece of shit. Like, dude, these are all awful.
Oh, they're all awful. So, but this was like pure, I guess, late '90s, early 2000 bullshit, where like Hellraiser is an MMO and there's
Yep.
raves. Like people
yeah.
people go to raves and like dance with glow sticks and go to fucking Hell World the MMO. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude, cyber goths.
Yeah.
The Matrix came out and they were like, how? The Matrix and Blade
The Matrix came out
out.
6 years prior.
And they're like, how do we make Hellraiser cool again? Give him some leather, some glow sticks, and video games.
Yeah, Deader has Henry Cavill and it has Catherine Winnick from Vikings.
When are we doing this Hellcast?
Oh, that's a slog. Even I.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm good.
I'm putting in my resignation right now.
I can't go down that world. I'll watch the first two, talk about them, but there's nothing to say about.
Yeah,
the
you
rest
might
of 'em.
convince me to. Yeah, you might convince me to watch one, maybe two. But
I mean, the first two are Clive Barker's involved, and I think that the minute he leaves, you are like, "What happened?" like, you're like, "Uh-oh." Like, what you didn't realize was that franchise was always hanging off a cliff, and Clive Barker was holding onto it. And then when he let go after the second one, that franchise fell into the ravine, and we'll never speak of it again.
speaking of never speaking of it again, what did we think of Ernest? Are we gonna?
Oh, right, Ernest Scared.
Well, yeah, we were talking about an Ernest film.
Anyway, this has
every
been Hellraiser. No, okay, so the sheriff starts getting inundated with parents talking about their missing children in the course of hours, which, way to drop the ball, sheriff. So what multiple people are telling him a troll is... That's the other thing, too. So multiple people are telling him a troll is taking the children, and all the children are missing. You need to, A, take those people in for questioning, and B, assume it's not a real troll, and still mount some kind of investigation. Like, you
Yeah,
don't-
because no, I don't think anybody believes it's a troll. Like the kids are saying, "Hey, fucking dummies, it's a troll,"
Right.
And they're just like, "No, you're just stupid kids, and we're parents, and
But the
therefore
parents
idiots
are
in this
telling
universe."
the parents are telling the sheriff that the children are missing. So the children are unequivocally missing. And the sheriff's response is, there's no troll. I'm like, that may be true, but everyone is telling you about the missing children, though.
Yeah,
Like, you
and
still need to do
his response is,
something.
"Oh, they're probably at the big Halloween box social at the school."
It's a box social. Oh, okay, I will say this. This is so far my least favorite of the Ernest films. However, this might have my favorite joke in any Ernest film, in which Ernest tells them he never knew when to quit, and they cut to a grade school teacher telling the camera that Ernest never knew when to quit before smacking a child Ernest into a blackboard. And then there is a callback.
Very strange.
Yeah.
It felt
I
so
loved
unnecessary.
it.
It was like the callback made it better. That was the only reason I liked
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
It was one of those, like, hey, audience, wink, this'll be important later.
That was great. Then at some point, Rimshot. Oh yeah, Rimshot's driving the car.
Wait. I thought they flashed back to that same joke later in the movie.
Oh, they
though.
do. They do. Because he goes on and on and on, and then she goes, "Never knew when to quit," and hits him again.
What was
Yeah,
what was
okay.
he writing on the board again?
I don't remember.
I don't know when to
It
quit.
just it just
It
reminded
was
me.
something like
learn
that.
when to
It
quit.
reminded me of the Bart Simpson writing on the
yeah.
chalkboard picture.
Oh yeah. And then Rimshot. Oh, by the way, Rimshot knows how to drive a car, like not just steer, but he can gear shift and operate both the brakes and the accelerator on command.
You got to learn a lot when you live with Ernest.
Well, you learn a lot when you're Wishbone.
Yeah, and then Eartha Kitt needs to get him out. Which and I'm sorry, did she have a life-sized can opener?
Yes, she did. He gets stuck in basically a barrel, and she has to open it up with a giant can opener. I didn't want to say life size because technically all can openers are life size. But
You got
yes,
me there.
An
You got me there.
oversized can opener.
Boy, that checks out.
But no, a giant
got me
oversized
there.
novelty can opener.
Misreading the legend that milk can destroy the troll. He brings the spice miak. This is the only thing I remember about Ernest as a child before we restarted this franchise. Was this miak joke? And I have no idea why.
Ernest in the curse of not being able to infer information without a complete set of data. Like, the only letter that's missing out of milk is the L.
It was miak. What was it? Like, it was out of season, but I found it. So a bunch of kids have been turned into wooden dolls by the troll for his ritual. They turn Rimshot into a wooden doll, and suddenly this is the first Ernest film with stakes. I also appreciate that Ernest just runs the troll down with his truck. Like, he just fucking tries to murder that troll.
I was thinking, like,
I mean,
while he did that,
hurt
I was
his
like,
dog.
this shit is graphic. Like, are we about to
Yeah.
see this thing get squashed?
Also, I know this is like a family film, so I know why this isn't in the film, but has anyone considered firearms to stop the troll?
I mean, I'm
Didn't-
pretty sure the
they
sheriff
do.
does pull a gun on him at some
But does he
point.
shoot him?
I don't think he actually does, though.
No. They use
No,
don't-
they use guns. They use
use-
super soakers.
yes, they use super soakers full of miak.
That's
So, do we know if they had a tie-in, like, to promote
Super
Super Soaker as a
Soakers,
brand?
I think they were just
kind
so
of like how
pervasive.
Transformers has all those brand tie-ins, like, Chevy and Pepsi.
I mean, wasn't everything isn't everything designed to just advertise more shit?
Brian, all media content exists to be able to push and peddle products. Which reminds me, this podcast is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends.
I still don't know what that is.
You don't need to.
Until
You will.
No one needs
Until
to
they
explain
pay
it.
us, yeah.
I'd rather not know.
Once they pay us, we'll do it.
Sure. I'll take your fucking money, Raid Shadow Legends. So anyway, we're fighting the troll at the tree. Eartha Kitt, her bicycle breaks down, and so she can't be there for the final fight. And they just keep
I can
cutting
only
to her.
assume she had some kind of a prior commitment.
Remember, there's like her bicycle breaks down, and they're cutting to her trying to like fix it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Also, Ernest does his weird montage of characters. What's weird, though, is the kids react like they're all existing at once.
That's why I said that I'm pretty sure he's schizophrenic. Or maybe all the kids are schizophrenic. Or everyone's on drugs. That actually would explain a lot. This tree actually sits on some kind of a natural fungal complex, and they're just all hallucinating at any given time.
There's no troll. This tree has trees just on some noxious gases.
So Ernest is schizophrenic, and they're all breathing in psilocybin.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So Ernest initially defeats the troll, and not that this is a particularly long Ernest film, but when the troll transformed into the Uber troll, I did kind of start to check my watch. I was like, oh, we're still doing this, huh? And Ernest then
Same.
realizes that love and kindness has to defeat the troll, so he starts dancing and kissing the troll to death.
Yep.
It's true to the character. I don't think I need to watch Ernest murder anyone. I'm not really interested. That's not why I'm here. I'm not here for
Well,
that.
I mean, that was the plot of the first film, though. I'm pretty sure he killed several people in the first film.
If you recall, he was brave and he stood his ground in front of the gun and did not fight back.
Dropped militarized turtles on them.
That was earlier. It was war peacetime. So anyway, they defeat Ernest defeats the troll with love and kindness. And then all the dolls turn back into humans, including the kids from 100 years ago or 200 years ago. And what the fuck are we going to do with those kids?
Yeah, they're just like,
what is
cool.
the societal implication of that?
It's 1990.
Yeah.
I
and
think.
And they recognize Eartha Kitt. They're like, hey, our friend. I'm like, that's weird.
That's strange that you instantly recognize this 200-year-old woman.
Maybe Eartha Kitt always sounded like that. She does have a distinct
And you're
voice.
not at all confused by all of the people standing around and the cars and vehicles and frightening things happening.
Or our comedic B team taking Polaroids or whatever.
Yeah.
Rimshot came back and he falls out of frame with Ernest, and Eartha Kitt gives this look that seems to say, is Ernest fucking this dog? And then the credits rolled immediately.
Well, that's not how I interpreted it, but now it's
How would you interpret Eartha Kitt's look to the camera?
The things I do for money.
That is also, I mean, that's the meta reading. Yeah, that's the meta textual reading. No outtakes, no poster mid-credit sequence. I mean, this is uncharted territory for Ernest.
Probably my least favorite so far, which sucks because
Agreed.
I was thinking as a kid, I feel like I liked this movie, but rewatching it, it's pretty awful.
I definitely think I saw this one the most as a kid.
I just don't remember I guess for some reason I don't remember the trolls. I thought it was more like, I don't know, Goosebumps.
Wait, I'm sorry, you don't
or
remember
something.
the troll?
Trolls.
No, so as
Like the Spawn?
I don't remember it being about that. As I watched it,
What
it
did you
came
think
back
it
to
was
me.
about?
I honestly have no fucking clue. I thought it was
All I
like,
remember is the troll.
I thought it was
Yep.
like Ernest goes to camp and they tell spooky stories, and
No, he goes to camp and goes to camp. Get your head out of your ass, bro.
but no, I barely remember this movie. And as I watched it, it kind of came back, and it's not good.
Do we have to keep going?
Yes.
I feel like this is the end of the Ernest.
See, Brian agrees.
I don't see.
Well, we have one more theatrically released one. We're definitely going to do that.
That's fine. We can do the last
okay.
theatrical. Is this the Africa one?
No, this is Rides Again.
Oh.
And then Slam Dunk
is
Ernest,
he in-
Ernest Goes to Africa, Ernest in the Army. Those are all straight to video. I was and Ernest Goes to School.
I feel like I remember Ernest in the Army somewhat.
See,
from when
and I
was a
remember
kid.
Goes to School, I think. No, I mean, we'll talk about this off air, but I'm thinking about, like, maybe we'll do a kind of snapshot of the four, or we each pick one of the four, and we each have to watch it, and then we have to tell the others about it. Was also something I was thinking about. And don't worry, I'll take the bullet if Ernest Goes to Africa.
There's a Ernest in the Army movie.
Yeah, that's one of the four.
I
Yeah.
assume it's a prequel that takes place before the first one when he's in Nam.
Or he's like, oh no, I've been drafted again. Or it's like, Ernest, you never finished your service before you discharge, and they redeploy him.
I don't.
Ernest goes to Kuwait.
Ernest Rides Again does not sound fun.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
we'll make it happen. Plus, we still have the first movie he appears in, but isn't an Ernest movie that I'm thinking about going back and doing.
Toy
Dr.
Story?
Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
It's
is that a
from
comic?
It's from the director of the Ernest films, and it stars Jim Varney as multiple characters, and Ernest is a character in the film.
Huh.
Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam. 92% like this movie.
Wait,
Impossible.
really?
5.7 on IMDb.
What?
That's
Also-
5.7 out of 10 is more like it. That's
And the cover looks like an Ernest movie.
well, that's because I think once he became popular, they repackaged it. If you go look at the original posters, Ernest isn't even on it.
I don't. Yeah, I'll have to pull out the original poster, but I like the name.
Well, Jim Varney plays Dr. Otto.
This cover makes him look like a great value Jim Carrey. Like if I went to Walmart and I needed to pick up a case of Jim Carrey, this is what would
It's
be
not
on
even
the
your
box.
Kroger private selection.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna watch Rides Again, and then I think we're gonna do this. But I actually am kind of okay with the idea of, or I'm kind of into the idea of we each pick one of the straight to video ones and we each watch it, and then
Yeah,
we comment.
we have to watch this one. This piece of trivia sold it for me. When there was downtime on set, Jim Varney would sing and tell stories to the kids who played the child mercenaries. So, you know
what is this?
Sold Dr. Otto in the riddle of the
That's
gloom beam.
fantastic. Yeah, we're gonna
Sold.
What was the other movie with the child mercenaries where they were giving them cigarettes? Is that Street Fighter?
Beasts of No Nation with Idris Elba.
No,
Yeah.
is it Street Fighter where they're training the kids and giving them
Blood
cigarettes?
Diamond?
I swear it's Street Fighter. I can't remember though.
Where they give kids cigarettes? Maybe.
Weren't they like training them at their Street Fighter camp? And there was
Street
like
Fighter Camp. I don't think you remember this movie very well.
Yes, the Street Fighter School for Girls.
wasn't all right. I'm trying to think of what movie it is.
The Street Fighter Academy for gifted
there's-
Street Fighters.
It's a movie we watched, and there's a camp where they're like training kids, and they're giving all these
Oh,
kids cigarettes.
Ninja Turtles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Foot Clan do that.
Yeah, so at the ninja camp, they're giving the kids cigarettes to fight the
Yeah,
turtles.
yeah. Sam Rockwell's there or something.
What the fuck is this movie rated? I'm so confused. The more I read about this movie, I'm just like, this is what started the Ernest films? Dr. Otto's apparently like an evil genius that but like he became evil because his mom tried to have an abortion and it didn't work.
Steve, I am so happy that this has broken you. That you didn't know about.
I think that's the movie we should have watched this whole time.
Yep.
Well, it's one of the movies. I mean, we're gonna, guys, we're gonna get there. We'll get to Mandy.
You guys are gonna hate it just as much as you hated Mandy.
I don't know about that.
I'm not relitigating Mandy with you.
Nope.
Ernest Scared Stupid. Weakest of the films. Happy Halloween.
Especially, I've been watching pretty much nothing but horror films for the past month, and
I thought
this
you were about to
was
say I've been watching nothing but Ernest films.
no, I've been watching nothing but horror films, and I was hoping this would kind of slide in somewhere in there, and it just.
I
did
mean,
not.
it does. It's just bad.
It's so bad.
That's fine. We're gonna do more Ernest. Don't worry, everybody. Don't worry, everybody. There'll be more Ernest. So I've been David.
I've been Corey.
I've been Brian.
I've been Steve.
Corey's
Wow.
been Eeyore.
Yeah, Corey's just done.
I've been done.
You've been listening to Cattywampus. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr at CattyWampusPod. Email us at cattywampuspodcast@gmail.com. Music by Tilly.